Good morning, everyone. At this time, I'll call the Crow Wing County Regular Board Meeting for November 12th, 2025 to order. If you'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, number 2 is open forum. I don't,
Oh, we got to
Roll call. See, already forgot.
Oh,
Weren't you just telling us not to forget
Yes.
about 30 seconds ago?
yeah. And, all right, roll call.
Commissioner Coring,
Here.
Commissioner Lepke,
here.
Commissioner Barrows,
Here.
Commissioner Franzine,
Here.
Commissioner Lee.
Here.
All right, I don't believe we have anybody here for open forum, so we'll move on to number 3, which is the review and approve of the minutes from October 28th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Franzine makes a motion to approve. Commissioner Lubke seconds that motion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Coring,
Aye.
Commissioner Franzine,
Aye.
Commissioner Lepke,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Barrows.
Aye. That motion passes. Thank you. Number 4 on our agenda is the review and approve the agenda for today. Any additions or corrections?
Nothing to add or change, Mr. Chair.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Franzine,
Second it.
second by Commissioner Lee. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Franzine,
Aye.
Commissioner Lepke,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Coring,
Aye.
Commissioner Barrows.
Aye. That motion passes. We're on to number 5, which is our consent agenda. Any concerns about items on that list?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Franzine to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Lee. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lepke,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Coring,
Aye.
Commissioner Franzine,
Aye.
Commissioner Barrows.
Aye. That motion passes. We will move on to number 7 then. We're going to skip can't do the public hearing until 9:05 or later. So we'll move on to number 7, which is the introduction of April Ristow to the library.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and
Jerry.
Commissioners.
Jerry.
I'd like to bring up Melissa Watley, the Executive Director for the Kitchigami Regional Library System, to introduce April Ristow, the new Brainerd Branch Manager.
Very good. Welcome.
Good morning, Crow Wing County Commissioners. Thank you so much for letting us have a piece of your time today. I just wanted to introduce you to the Brainerd Branch Manager, April Ristow. She's been with us for just a little under a month now, so doing a lot of getting introduced to the Brainerd Branch Library, the Kitchigami region overall. She's a regional branch manager, so she also helps oversee other branches in the area, so as far up as Longville and Pine River, so some of the ones that are local to this area. So she will be coming around to speak with you about library issues, and we would welcome you to contact her with any questions you might have about your local branch, as well as contact me for anything you might have questions about regionally. So April, if you'd like to just say hello.
April, normally we get about a 20-minute speech out of new.
I can do that.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me reconsider.
Yeah.
You're in trouble now, Board Chair.
Librarians do like to talk, yes.
All right.
But I'm very excited to be here. I've just come to the Brainerd area, and it's been very welcoming, and Kitchigami's been great in this transition. So thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to meeting with each of you.
Where do you come from?
You know, I'm from the Twin Cities originally, and so I got my master's in library and information science around that area, and then I went down to Florida. And so I was down in Florida for a little bit, yeah, but I'm back in Minnesota now, and I'm very excited to be part of the Minnesota area.
It's always a challenge, isn't it, when you are raised here and then you go to Florida and you miss those nice cold temperatures, being able to walk on water here.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I think it's the leaves too.
Six layers of clothing.
That especially, right?
All right, well, welcome.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you so much.
Look
And I want
forward
to
to,
also personally thank the board for the 3% increase for Kichigami this year. Thank you so much for working with us this year for that preliminary levy increase and for working to increase our relationship together and make sure that we had full communications this year to get that developed. So thank you so much. We do appreciate that.
very good. One
Thank you.
quick thing, Commissioner Coring, did you have anything? I didn't see you on the, we didn't look over your way on the screen.
No, nothing. Mr. Chairman, thank you. I just want to say thanks for the good work that you guys do. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right, we're now at 9:05. I would look for a motion to open a public hearing.
Mr. Chair, before you open the public hearing, perhaps you'd like to hear from Land Services staff on what
All right.
the petition is, and then open the public hearing?
Okay,
Okay?
All right. Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. We're holding a public hearing today for the Kimball Lake Improvement District. They were created in 2018 with an assessment amount of $200 per eligible property owner. And just as we've seen, the prices for doing services have increased. So they submitted a petition with 70 verified signatures, which was 67.9% support of the petition to change the annual assessment calculation. And what this means is they are only allowed to go up to that original set amount of $200, and they would like to be able to go higher than that if need be. So what this means is they would set their budget for the year, which I'll be bringing to you at the next board meeting, and then they would divide that by the eligible property owners of what they need for the next year. And if that comes in higher than that $200, this petition would allow them to assess the property owners higher than that $200. They would still need to vote on it and get it approved at their annual meeting, but this would allow them to go higher than $200.
so currently they're at $200,
Correct.
correct?
Yep.
Okay. Any questions or concerns? Commissioner Coring?
Nothing from me, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Could you repeat what would the increase be? Sorry. What would, could you repeat what the increase would be?
I do not know that yet. It'll be $200 for 2026, but then come for the 2027 year, they would be able to increase it. I don't know that yet until they submit their annual report for 2026, and then they would submit their budgeted needs for the next year. So if their expenditures are $100,000, divide that by the number of eligible property owners, that's what they would propose their assessment to be.
Okay.
So at this point, they're only asking for authorization for 2027,
And
Not
already
for-
up to use this new calculation.
not
Yep,
for 26.
correct.
So, all right. Any other clarification needed, concerns?
Mr.
Mr. Chair.
Oh,
1 second, Commissioner Coring. Commissioner
so
Love.
Sure.
if for some reason that board that sits there and decides they need $400 from each property owner or whatever more they need, is that done by a majority of those lake owners or only who shows up at that meeting then?
That is voted on at the meeting, and they also are required to send out, I don't know if it's a card or a piece of paper where the homeowners can vote as well.
And after they do that, there's nothing that comes back to the county in regards to overseeing that at all?
Not approving that, nope. We see it in their annual report, and then I bring that to you guys each year, but we don't approve or deny. We approve their budget, not the assessment.
Okay.
Commissioner Coring?
I guess, Mr. Chairman, my question was the same thing. Can you just explain to me how the assessment works? After we approve a lake improvement district, the Lake Improvement Board and the membership, then they're the ones that can raise up whatever the assessment is. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. It's voted on every year by the board of the LID, and then they certify that to us like every other special assessment that we have, and then that is like assessed to the property owners. But yes, it is voted on, and like I said, if their original founding documents state $100 as their assessment, they cannot go above that. So this is the third Lake Improvement District that has petitioned to change how they do their calculation for the assessment each year to this new calculation so that they are able to go above it. They can still stay below it, but then they're able to change that and be able to grow their fund balance to do the treatments and services that they need on their lake.
So, Mr. Chairman, so if is there any limits on what, if they started out at $100 and let's say get some board members that are out of control and they want to go to $900 and it gets passed, and then all of a sudden some lake association or lake members come to us and say, oh my God, this is out of control. Then what happens?
I haven't been through that yet. I am not certain, but you guys, I do bring it to you guys each year at County Board, all of the Lake Improvement District reports and what their budgets are, so that is something we review at that time. And then the assessments aren't certified until end of November, so we have a chance to, I guess, look at that, but I'm not certain on if we have the ability to say, no, you can't do $900.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chairman, no.
Commissioner Corrigan,
Mr.
go
Chair,
ahead.
so just one more question. So, can you just explain this new thing that they can go to, can they go to anything they want to, or is there a limit?
I don't know of a limit, but what it would be is if when they submit their annual budget to us, we're reviewing that, making sure they're spending their money on the allowed expenses, looking at what revenues they have coming in, looking at their fund balances to make sure they're not growing too high. So what this would do is we would look at their budget and then say they had $100,000 in expenditures next year. They have very little fund balance. So they would take that $100,000 that they need to do their treatments or whatever services they're planning for the following year, and they would divide that by the eligible property owners, and then that would be their assessment they would certify for the following year. And then they would, like I said, they'd have to send that out to all eligible property owners, and then it would be voted on at their annual meeting.
So
Okay.
Commissioner Administrator Erickson, please.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, when you establish a lid, there are two different ways that they can be established. Actually, there are three ways they can be established under statute. One is with a fixed assessment amount, which is what the vast majority of the lids that we have in the county have done. They approach you, they have gone through their membership, they've received a petition that says, we want to establish this district. We believe it's going to cost us $10,000 a year for treatment and services that we need for this particular district. We're going to divide that by the number of parcels. We're going to charge $150 a year per owner, per property owner, whatever it might be, whatever their plan is in that way. That's the fixed assessment route that Kimball was originally established under. Another way that they can do it is to do that same exact process, but have this flexible assessment, which is what they're asking for now, which gives them the ability to adjust that amount every year based on a number of factors. Whether it be that they're seeing improvement and they can reduce the amount of treatment that is needed, whether they are seeing that there is a higher area of spot treatment that needs to happen, costs continue to go up, rather than having to come before the county board to change that fixed assessment every year, they have the ability to make this adjustment, as Jessica has laid out, from the standpoint of saying, here's what our budget is going to be for the next year. This is the amount we're going to charge. Your piece of this is giving them the authority to do that flexible assessment amount. Their lid board, their membership is required to determine what's the appropriate dollar amount for what that would be. Their total membership have to vote, a majority of the membership have to agree for whatever that increased price is going to be at that point in time. The third way that a lid can be established is basically with taxing authority on a levy. They could petition you to give them the authority to tax an actual levy amount versus a special assessment amount. I don't believe we have any created under that role in our county, but that is another option that is in statute. You have three things that come before you when you're establishing a lid. One is there enough support to be able to do so based on the number of people, number of signatures on a petition, so on and so forth. Number two, are you agreeable that they can adopt a lid? And number three is what model are they adopting this lid under? The fixed assessment, the flexible assessment, or the levy authority? The lid board and the lid membership then has the control as to kind of determine what that dollar amount is, if it's under the flexible amount or the levy amount. In this case, Kimball Lake is asking to go from the fixed assessment to the flexible assessment. But it would be up to their membership to determine what is the appropriate amount every year based on that flexible membership piece.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Lubke.
So this happened last year, I think, with Ruth, or the year before with Ruth. Ruth was on the fixed amount, and in order for them to be able to go to the flexible amount, they had to go back to every one of the lake owners and get that majority again, 50 plus 1, almost to like recreate the whole lid over again, but to create it with the flexible amount versus the fixed amount. And that's what Kimball is doing here, correct?
Correct, yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah. So everybody still voted to go ahead with the lid and go ahead with it as far as those people on the lake, the majority of them. And do we know how many of that was, of the, how many property owners are on Kimball and what that amount was? Did you just say that earlier?
Yep, it's 103 eligible properties, and then there was 70 verified signatures.
So they had about a 70% of the people on that lake said, please allow them to raise that rate and to tax us and have it put on our, we collect it for them, right? And
Correct.
then they
It's
get,
collected on their
do they get
property
the
taxes.
check then right away, or do we hold the money?
It is sent as a check, as a transfer to the Lake Association. We no longer hold funds for any of those lids. They're responsible to have their own banking accounts and do their own financials.
And they come back, do they come back then with that annual report and we look it over, and do we do anything with it? We just look it over and says that looks correct?
We review the annual report, but you have no authority to say you did a good job, you didn't do a good job, you shouldn't still have a lid, you can't have a lid. You don't have the authority to do that.
The members do, though, if the members aren't happy with how that lid is done.
Correct.
They
Yep.
can come back, and I don't know what that number is. Is it 50 plus 1 to go away from the lid, or is that number different than that?
It is the same number.
It's the same number, so if they weren't happy with their board, they could come back to their board, they could apply, and then the lid would be dissolved.
Dissolved.
Okay,
Have we dissolved any?
We have not.
I didn't think so.
yeah, I didn't think
Yep.
so.
As you mentioned, Commissioner, the taxes or the assessment is collected as part of their taxes. They get that settled out during the regular property tax settlement process. So they get a payment in July, they get a payment in December. They get their payments that occur at that same time that our cities and townships. Essentially, lids are a taxing authority, just like a city, a township, a school district would be.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much, Jessica. I would look for a motion then to open up the public hearing regarding the Kimball Lake Improvement District Assessment Calculation Change.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Franzine,
Second.
second by Commissioner Lubke. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Coring,
Aye.
Commissioner Franzine,
Aye.
Commissioner Lubke,
Aye.
Commissioner Barrows.
Aye, that motion passes. The public hearing is now open. Would anyone like to speak regarding it? Yes, sir. You both are in the same line of my finger here. So I'll need your name and address, please.
My name is Dan, or Daniel Yavner. I live at 34840 County Road 39. Mailing address is Pequot. It's Ideal Township. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on this matter. And I do support the efforts of the board to protect the lake. I have two concerns. The matter before this board does not state how the board will use the additional funds. There is a statement of this infection that is prevalent in some other lakes, and they wish to build a defense fund adequate to fight this infection should it occur in the lake. My concern on that is, what if the lake is not infected? They are building this war chest, so to speak. What happens with those funds? And they're not describing that. So does it just sit there? Do they decide to spend it on other matters? So I would like to see some regulation that says this extra war chest is for this particular infection and not for general matters, or that they state this is for general matters. If the funds exceed what is necessary to fight this infection, what happens? Or let's say they are assessing this extra assessment for 10 years, the lake is never infected, what happens to those funds? So I would like clarity on that. If this is not the council, the county board matter, then I'll have to take it up with the lid board. My other concern is the rather unequal assessment per lot. My taxes are $1,100 a year. On top of that, there is a $200 a year assessment for the LID. That's nearly a 20% surcharge. They're proposing another $40,000, and currently their allocation is just simply, there are 100 lots, divide by 100. That adds $400 to my taxes, add to the $200 that I'm already paying. That is a 50% surcharge over my county taxes just for the lake. And the county has social services as number one, and public, the sheriff's office and what have you is number two, and roads and what have you. And I'm glad to spend for all of that. To have me pay a 50% surcharge to protect the lake just in case it's infected, I think is unreasonable. It may be a bookkeeping challenge to allocate the expense based on the assessed value of each property, but I think that's a lot better than just, okay, 100 lots, boom. I don't even have a house on the lake. My house is on the east side of 39. I have a steep bluff. I can't even get down to the lakeshore without a switchback. And you folks rightly will not permit me to build on the lake. I don't have setbacks, and it would destroy this bluff and what have you. So to me, it's great that people want to protect the lake. I don't feel that a 50% surcharge on my taxes is valid and appropriate. Thank you for this opportunity.
Very good. Administrator, when we get a petition,
Any questions? Or
I'm going to try to get some clarification here on what our authority is as a board. So my assumption is, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that when we receive a petition, the questions that are being asked here are more for the LID board than they are for us. We're here simply to approve or deny the request on the petition, correct?
That is correct, Mr. Chair, yes.
Okay. So
You do not have, as the county, if the establishment of the LID or a change of the LID is coming as a petition from the ownership, you don't have the authority to tell them how to set up their lid.
Right.
There is a provision in statute that lets the county board establish a lid based on your determination. You have not taken that action in the past, and none of our lids are set up that way. You have taken the action that if they want a lid, they have to come to you. In that case, your responsibility is limited to saying yes or no and setting, if they're asking for that fixed rate, what should that fixed rate be? You set that as part of that. But you do not have the authority to say it should be done as a levy situation versus as a special assessment. That's based on the purveyance that they've put before you with that petition.
So the questions that are being asked, we would redirect him to the
To the lid board.
lid board. So, all right?
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I just have one other thing. In talking, I think at one time to Chris Pence and stuff, that there was also another way of doing it where you would prorate it over the valuations of the property.
That's if they are doing a levy-based ad valorem tax.
Yeah,
That's not as a special assessment. Like I mentioned, a lid basically has taxing authority.
Right.
If they would approach you with that funding mechanism as part of that petition that says, we want to levy X number of dollars per year, and then that gets applied like the county's levy gets applied.
Right.
It's based on the valuation of the
Right,
properties.
right, yeah. And they're not doing that, they're doing a fixed.
They're not
value.
doing that. And I don't believe we have any that
No,
are
we don't
doing
have
a
any.
levy
No,
situation.
no,
They're
I-
all done as a special assessment.
I think most of the lids we have right now are in the district I serve, so I'm fairly familiar. Well, no, except for South Long Lake, right? South Long Lake has, or is there another one down there?
There are a couple down there.
There, yeah, so.
The other gentleman, if you would like to come up and give us your name and address, please?
Sure. Commissioners, my name's Thomas Hanson, and I have a home at 10,001 Kimball Creek Road in Pequot Lakes, which is on Kimball Lake. And I am the vice president of Kimball Lake Improvement District and was part of the board when we put the resolution together, so I'm here to speak to that. I've been on the board for 15 years, almost since it was created. And we've lived within our $200 assessment for 17 years. And other than the first year, this is the first year that we've ever assessed $200. So this year we increased our assessment to the full $200 because, one, our costs are gone up quite a bit on chemicals to treat. It's costing more to get our lake surveyed, and just like everything else, just costing more. And for some reason, we're seeing more and more outbreaks of milfoil on our lake, and so we've had to spend more on treatment. In the past, as we've increased and decreased our assessments, we've had a number for a reserve account, and we've tried to raise and lower assessments based on how much money we have on hand. So we've never okay, let's build a great big war chest. It's like, okay, we're looking out 2 years, 3 years, and we have to look that far out because what we assess at our meeting and vote on in our meeting in 2026, we don't get that money until 2027. So we got to look out a long ways. We're just sitting there today looking out saying, okay, in the interest of everybody on our lake, are we going to have enough money in the future to fight the starry stonewort, to keep fighting the milfoil, and to do this? We're going to need more money than our $20,000 assessment, or our limit, or $200 per home. And we don't know what the number is going to be. And that's why we're asking you to go to this.
Okay. Questions or concerns?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. Tom, so when you go out there and because I think your lake was infected at one time and you did use some monies to help that, correct? Was it Curly Leaf Pond or was it?
No, we have milfoil.
Milfoil, and you did have quite a bit of it, and you've been able to keep it kind of in check?
We had a lot of it at the beginning, 17 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We got it down to where just for a few years we could only find a plant or two, so very minimal. But in the last 4 years, 5 years, we've had numerous outbreaks all around the lake. And so maybe one year we spent $1,000 on treatment. In the last couple of years, we maybe spent $12,000 on treatment. So we've actually gone back into our reserves the last couple of years because we're finding more and more milfoil.
You know, as somebody who sits on some watershed boards and stuff, I applaud some of the lake associations and the lids for, yes, it is the property that you have that's on the lake that has some value, but it's also the water out there is actually public water, and you're using your tax dollars, you're deciding to tax yourself to protect public waters, and I kind of commend you on that. I think the state probably could step up their game a little bit on it instead of we got one more year yet. I think our AAS money is going to be the same, but the next year they're cutting it in half. And I don't know what that's going to mean to the lakes, especially when we're in a county like Crow Wing, which is a lake-centric county. We kind of run on water up here. So I applaud for what you're doing. I understand the concern of the gentleman that spoke before, where he has a piece of property on the lake that really is not usable that I know of, and I haven't gone through and looked at it and see what could he do on that property, but he's still being assessed that same amount of money that everybody else is.
Yeah, and I can't speak to that, so.
Well, that's kind of we can't speak to it here at the board. It's
I would
pretty much your board
encourage
can.
all members, everybody who's a property owner on our lake, if they're interested, if they're concerned, they really should go to the annual meetings.
Yes,
where we have
I
robust
agree.
discussion on these matters. And people get to vote, and if you think that the board's going wacko and raising the fees too much, you vote in other board members. And so that's what I would encourage Dan to do and others to do, is just go to it's 1 hour, once a year, go to the meeting and get your input in there. And one person talking, that's a little bit different than what we're used to hearing, has an impact on it. So it's not like you're speaking to a sea that no one can hear.
And again, I think County Administrator framed it right, where that's really not part of our review. Our review is to say yes or no.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions or concerns?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
Yeah, so I've got was there anybody else that's there in the audience that's going to speak?
I don't believe
I don't
so.
want to step, okay. So I want to just tell you a story. You know, when I was in the Senate, there was a small lake, and I'm trying to think of what it was, but the lake did not have a public access on it. And it was a small lake, and the DNR was in the process of buying somebody's property, and they were going to tear down the house, and they were going to make a public access on this lake, where the people on that lake were opposed to that. So I called in the DNR to my office, and I talked to them, and they emphatically said, the people on the lake don't own that lake. That's a public lake. That's for the public. Well, it goes to this, to me, that why are the people that are living on this lake having to, yes, God bless them for protecting the lake that they live on, but why are they responsible to take care of all of this stuff on their taxes, on their backs, when this is all public water? Why shouldn't the DNR be doing that? This is where government it's baloney, because government should be taking care of this. The DNR should be taking care of this, but no, they're not. So now the public has to take this responsibility on this lid to try to protect their lake. Otherwise, government's not going to take care of it. So it just doesn't seem right to me. And you know, how much of a burden can these people stand to pay for to protect the lake that they live on? And it really isn't their responsibility. I don't think so. You know, so anyway, that's just an editorial comment, Mr. Chairman. I'm really kind of frustrated with all this lake improvement district where these people are almost in essence being double taxed because they're paying taxes. They're paying taxes so that the DNR takes care of these public waters, but yet they are not taking care of them. Just a bunch of BS. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions, concerns,
Comments, Mr. Chair?
scenarios that we can think of?
Mr. Chair, Paul and I agree on that.
All right, if there is nothing else, I would look for a motion to close the public hearing at
Second.
That motion.
at 9:25. Commissioner Franzine makes the motion to close the public hearing,
Second.
second by
Coring.
Commissioner Coring. I had somebody talking in my ear, Paul. I didn't
Sorry.
forget your name. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Coring,
Aye.
Commissioner Franzine,
Aye.
Commissioner Lepke,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Barrows.
Aye, that motion passes. We'll move on to number 6.2, which is the Kimball Lake Improvement District Assessment Calculation Change. So we've heard the discussion. They're asking to change to a flexible approach to the taxing authority that they would have. Any questions?
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Lubke makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Franzine. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Franzine?
Aye.
Commissioner Lubke?
Aye.
Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Coring?
No.
Commissioner Barros?
Aye. That motion passes. Thank you. We'll now move on to number 8, which is the county sheriff and the medical examiner transport services request for an RFP. Morning, gentlemen.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, as you recall, several weeks ago, we had Steve in, who is our current medical examiner transport services contract. He's been with the county for 10-plus years, I believe. Obviously, he notified us that he's retiring and he sold his business out, and for that reason, we're coming before you to offer up an RFP to have a new service start our transport program here in Crow Wing County, and we're asking permission to send out that RFP. I believe the Administrator's Office got a copy of the RFP in hand, and we're looking to advertise for a replacement for Steve at this point in time. Do you have any questions in regards to that?
I have no questions. Commissioner Lee?
Just one question. Just for clarification, I remember that gentleman being in here and speaking with us about his upcoming retirement, but I thought he had someone that was taking over his business for him.
He did. He sold his business to another individual that had been working with him for some time to get the understanding of what it required to be part of that transport. But the contract that we have is currently with Steve, and for that reason, whoever bought that contract out would have to put in for an opportunity to get that contract under his name through Crow Wing County.
Mr. Chair, we transferred the existing contract that expired December 31st anyway to the person who was taking over that business. And it's always a good idea to go out and get proposals for these types of services on a somewhat regular basis as well. It's been 10 years, I believe, since we have bid this out, so it is a good idea to get some proposals and see what else the market has to offer. The new owner obviously is encouraged to bid on the services that are going to be provided, but also opens up to anybody else who might have some interest as well.
Right. Commissioner Coring, do you have anything?
No, Mr. Chairman, the only thing is if Deb could expand on that a little bit. Now, this is not a bid, this is a request for proposal. If they don't meet the requirements of the proposal, insurance-wise or whatever requirements we have, even though somebody's lower, we can choose on who's going to provide the services that we're looking for. Am I saying that correctly?
That's correct. This is a proposal because it's a service being provided, not a good that we are purchasing. So rather than a request for bids, that's why it's a request for proposals. And when you consider proposals, you look at the pricing, you look at the insurance requirements, as Commissioner Coring mentioned, you'll look at all of the different aspects as far as what's listed in them to compare the responses that you receive. And you are not required to take the lowest dollar amount. You look at the total package of what that service is.
Any other questions, concerns? Does this require a motion to?
Mr. Chair, it does require a motion to authorize the Sheriff's Office to solicit RFPs. I believe you are looking to be received until 4 p.m. on December 12th. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So anyone who is interested in providing a proposal would have to respond in writing with that proposal to the Sheriff's Office by that time.
All right.
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Franzine makes a motion to approve.
Second it.
Second by Commissioner Lee. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lubke?
Aye.
Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Coring?
Aye.
Commissioner Franzine?
Aye.
Commissioner Barros?
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
gentlemen.
And I have just one last thing I'd like to bring up to the attention of the board, Mr. Chairman. Good news, as you know, we actually put out an application for a VSET, or a Violent Crime Enforcement Team opportunity with the state. Currently, there's 21 VSETs in the state of Minnesota, and we wanted to be 22nd with our related team. That application was submitted back in October. or actually was submitted back in August, and we were expecting a response in October. We just got our response last Friday. We've been approved. And we will be funded now through the VSET program, which is the trigger that allows us to try to hire that individual that we needed for our record support. And I just want to let you know that I was not going to move forward with that position until we got approval with the funding to do so, and that has been approved as of last Friday. I just want to make you aware of that.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
And if you have any other questions for me, I'll be willing to answer.
Mr. Chair, so what does that position do? Could you help me with?
The record specialist for our LATED team actually does all of our financial records and our statistics that we're required to provide to the state to be part of a VSET program. So every activity, any monies that we bring in, any monies that we spend, the activity of the team in regards to arrests, type of arrest, types of drugs we're taking in, types of crime we're dealing with, some of the federal information that we're being provided for those arrests through the DEA, the FBI. All that stuff has to be documented and sent into the state quarterly, and then they do audits on us every month, and she'll be in direct contact with the auditors when they come in to verify that all of our documentation in regards to our financial records, our reporting, our reports, and so forth are in line. She's also going to be in charge of the evidence collection for our LATED team, so any evidence that comes in, that has to be controlled and has to be reported back to the VSET also. This job entails basically our entire record department and one person just for our VSET program that's being headed by the LATED team. So it's a very important position, and it was too much for our LATED lead to actually take on. It would have spent more time sitting in a desk than doing the actual field work, and that's what this position is for.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, that is part of our 2026 budget, the preliminary budget that you had approved. If you recall, that position was included within that budget with the expectation that it was going to be funded through those VSET dollars. And as Chief Deputy mentioned, if the grant wasn't going to be received, the position wasn't going to move forward. So this is good news for that.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. County Attorney, are they online?
Kelsey is online. Yep.
Good morning,
Good
Kelsey.
morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I don't have anything for you this morning, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for the County Attorney? Guess you're off the hook. Thank you.
Have a good day.
County Administrator.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, our senior management team met on Monday afternoon, and we had a couple of different agenda items that we discussed this week. First, we had a presentation from the Association of Minnesota Counties Grant Support Team from the standpoint of showing us some new tools that they have available with a listing of grant resources that might be something the counties may want to take advantage of, or at least have an opportunity to see what grants might be available. They also have developed some resources that assist with grant writing. Often that is not a skill that we have on our staff, so it's always a nice thing to have some template material and to be able to make sure that we are approaching those resources and those opportunities as best as possible. We also spent some time discussing our Plan B, if you will, if we were to have an IT disaster, if for whatever reason, whether it be man-made or whether it be a natural disaster that took out our IT functionality, how would we continue to do business? We've talked before about what does that mitigation plan look like? How do we prevent things from happening? But now we need to also focus on what's the recovery? How do we respond? One of the things we talked about was, do departments have a list of contact information for all of their staff? And in some cases, the answer was yes. And when the question was asked, well, where is that stored? Somebody said, well, on my computer. Well, if we can't get to the network, it doesn't do us a whole lot of good of having just that location, having that piece of it. So what is the recovery or response aspects that we need to be aware of? Like many of these things, this is one of those areas where we really don't know what the issue might be until you're in the midst of it. But what can we do to make sure that we are somewhat prepared to be able to cover any kind of contingency or emergency that comes up? So some of the things we talked about was utilizing the Everbridge functionality, some of the other areas and opportunities that we have with our emergency management department to help to provide that notice as need be. We also talked about the fact that we've done a great job of outfitting our departments and our buildings to be keyless entry. Your key is now your card. Well, if your computer system is down, how are you getting in the building? Do we make sure that we can still access our facilities if that is the case? So a couple of good discussion points that came up for talking points and further review for us to consider as we move forward and continuing to strengthen our operations. That's all I have for you today, but if anyone has any questions of me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions for the administrator? Commissioner Coring, anything?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
You have a final story for us, Paul?
No, I wish I did have a final good story, but the only final thing I would say is that Crow Wing County has lost somebody that documented our area. Steve Coles has passed away, and I got to tell you, from the time I started running for the state Senate seat, I can remember back in 1996, I was in the St. Matthias Town Hall. It was dark out, and Steve took a picture, and it just kind of told you what the grassroots government is on caucus night with the picture that he took. And they always say that pictures say 1,000 words. Well, I'll tell you, Steve Coles said many, many words, and what a great man. And I considered him a friend, and I certainly will miss him. And I just want to honor him today.
I would concur
Thank
with
you.
that, Commissioner, so thank you
Yes.
very much for those wonderful words. He was a gentleman and a welcome at any event. It was amazing. Anything else? If there's nothing else, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Franzine,
Second?
second by Commissioner Lubke. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Coring,
Aye.
Commissioner Franzine,
Aye.
Commissioner Lubke,
Aye.
Commissioner Barros.
Aye. That motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.